Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay, so chapter 8 yesterday, what did we learn? We learned about Arjuna had questions. The best question, how to attain Krishna. Then death was the final exam. When to prepare, what is the syllabus, how to prepare, what will be the result. Then attaining the Supreme, how to attain the Supreme and why to attain the Supreme and what do we attain in turn. Pure devotion is the best. Then, other yogis are there, but pure devotees go directly to Golok Vrindavan. Today we are going to do chapter 9. It is called Raja Guhya Yoga. It means the most confidential knowledge. So the first chapter, beginning when we started Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter, it's more of an introduction to the rest of the book, right? Second and third chapters about spiritual knowledge. It would describe that it is quite confidential. Spiritual knowledge is also confidential. Then there were many topics that we discussed in 7th chapter and 8th chapter also. It was related to devotional service also, right? And that because they bring enlightenment in Krishna consciousness, it helps us to move towards Krishna consciousness. They're called more confidential. But the matters which are described in 9th chapter, they deal with completely pure, unalloyed devotion. There is no contamination there, unalloyed pure devotion. So therefore, this chapter is called the most confidential. So in this chapter, the main thing is that Krishna has spoken all the 34 shlokas in this chapter. And he talks about his Aishwarya Jnana, right? So he also talks about different types of worshippers of Lord Krishna and the glories of Krishna Bhakti. Let's move. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyamyana suyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajñatva mokshase shubhat. The Supreme Lord said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of miseries of material existence. So these are the opening words of 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So it has started with God speaking. So Shri Bhagavan, Bhagavano Vacha. Bhaga, as I already told you, it means opulences, and Van means the one who possesses these opulences, like Jnanavan, Shraddhavan, right? So Bhagavan is one who possesses all the opulences, the totality of all 6 opulences, knowledge, wealth, power, beauty, fame, and renunciation also. So in the first verse, Krishna is saying the word Guhyatamam. Guhyatamam means what? It means he is imparting the most confidential knowledge to Arjuna. Now the question is, we may get this question, why is he telling this to Arjuna? It is because he is Anasuyave. Anasuyave means what? Who is non-envious. He is having no jealousy. So in this material world, if someone is little greater than us, or someone is little richer to us, what happens to us? We become envious. Oh, he's got more than me. We are not only envious of one another, sometimes, even of God as well. Oh, God has everything. We don't have anything. What this is not fair. We start complaining. But Arjuna is different. Arjuna is not at all envious. And Krishna speaks this special knowledge to him because he is a real great devotee. And he is not only going to impart to him this special knowledge to him, but also he is going to impart theoretical knowledge and as well practical knowledge, jnana and vijnana sahitam. So he will teach them his knowledge also and vijnana, practical knowledge also, jnana vijnana sahitam. So this first verse has specific significance. Word idam jnanam means, idam means this and jnanam means knowledge. So he's going to give this knowledge. This knowledge refers to pure devotional service. So there are 9 different types of devotional activities, right? So what are they? Let's see that. It is, first one is Shravanam, that is hearing. Then Kirtanam, chanting. Smaranam, remembering the Lord. Padasevanam, serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Then Archanam, worshipping the Lord. Vandanam, offering prayers to the Lord. Dasyam, becoming the servant of the Lord. Sakyam, consider Lord to be the best friend. And Atmanivedanam, complete surrender to the Lord. These are the devotional services. And by practicing these 9 devotional, you can do all or you can do any. At least do something. So it will elevate us, it will make us go closer to Krishna and elevate to spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. And it has been taken from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5, 23 and 24. It is written over here. And who says this? This has been said by Shri Prahlad. It's written like Shri Prahlado Vacha, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyatmani Atmanivedanam Iti Punsam Pita Vishnu Bhaktishchenam Cheshnava Lakshana Kriyeta Bhagavat Yatha Tanmanye Dhita Uttamam. So he will say this is very uttam, means very great. You have to do all these 9 devotional services and try to go near to Lord Krishna. Raja Vidya Raja Goyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is a perfection of religion. It is everlasting. You will never lose it. And it is joyfully performed. So the word Raja Gohyam, here also you can see the word Raja Gohyam. It indicates the sovereign knowledge, and it is very confidential knowledge. And the word here, Pavitra. Pavitra means very pure. And Uttamam, very, very great. It is totally top knowledge that we are getting. Most confidential because it involves understanding the difference between soul and the body. And it is king of the confidential knowledge. King of education, Raja Goyam, it's Raja Vidya, king of knowledge. Raja means king, right? And Vidya is knowledge, study. So it's king of confidential knowledge, and it concludes in devotional service. That's why I showed the all 9 devotional services. Generally, people are not educated in this confidential knowledge, right? They are educated, we get education in schools, colleges, and we get different types of external knowledge, like we learn about social knowledge, we go and learn Ayurveda, astrological, scientific knowledge, but Gita Gyan is on the top, which we don't get. Unfortunately, what is happening all over the world, there are so many universities, but unfortunately we are not taught the science of spirit, soul. It's not being taught anywhere, but soul is the most important part of the body. Without the presence of soul, this body has no value. But still, people are placing great stress on bodily necessities of life. They're not caring about the inside, the vital soul. It's very important. The process of devotional service of Krishna consciousness is the king of all education, Gita Gyan, and king of all confidential knowledge. When this is the sovereign or the confidential science or very important science, and it is also easy to practice, why people are not applying themselves to learning it, we don't understand. But Krishna will tell us why people are not applying it. Ashraddhadhana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of foes, but return to birth and death in this material world. See, you can see. People cannot apply themselves to learning it. Why? Because Lord Krishna is explaining. Faith, ashraddha dhana, they don't have faith. Shraddha is needed. Ashraddha, there is having ashraddha. You should have shraddha. So the faithless people, they cannot undertake this process of devotional service. What will happen if you are not serious in your studies or you're not serious in your work? What will happen to you? You either, if you're a student, then you won't get promoted to the next class. And if you're a manager or you're working in some office, you won't get promotion. You will stay there forever. You will not get bonus. Similarly, if you're not serious about a spiritual practice or devotion, then we will remain here in the jaws of cycle of birth and death. If you like to keep coming here and go through the miseries, well, fine. But otherwise, We need to get away from it, right? We should try to end this cycle of birth and death. Go back to Krishna. That is our home. No matter how wonderful the knowledge and how effective the path, it will be useless if we are not ready to walk on it, right? The path may be wonderful, but we are not even wanting to go towards it. So initially what is needed is a leap of faith, Shraddha. It is required to begin the process. It is said in Nectar of Devotion, as you can see here in 1.4.15. Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sango Tha Bhajana Kriya. Means what? First step to God, to the path of God realization is to have faith. Adau Shraddha, faith. Then one begins participating in satsang. Tatha sadhu sangha ta bhajan kriya. Then spiritual programs, it will lead to satsang. This will lead to the personal practice of devotion. That's very, very important for us. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat tat vyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavasthitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So this is very important point. I am not in them. Lord Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, it cannot be understood by imperfect material senses, right? You can see here what in Brahma Samhita, Brahma is praising Lord. What is he saying? Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. What is he saying? I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyam Sundara, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love. So even Brahma is praising, right? He's telling Krishna is inconceivable. So he is all pervading. He's present everywhere, omniscient, omnipresent, everything is there, but we cannot see him. This is indicated by what is the word that indicates that? Avyakta murtina, cannot be seen, like with our this kind of vision. It is created from this whole universe has been created from God's material energy. Souls too are energy of God, right? We are his superior Jiva Shakti, we are superior energy. World, souls, everything has been made from God's energy. We are within his personality, right? Krishna also says he does not dwell in living beings. He is infinite. How can infinite be contained in finite or finite, as Americans say? Can anything big fit in small? Because he's far more bigger than the sum total of all the energies, right? For example, as an ocean throws up many, many waves. And these waves, they are just part of the ocean. But ocean is much more bigger, much more than the sum total of the waves. Similarly, soul, Maya, everything, we all exist within the personality of God, yet he is beyond them, that we cannot understand through this material senses. Nachamasthani bhutani pashyame yoga maishwaram bhuta brahnacha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. And yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, although I am everywhere, still myself is the very source of creation. What is he saying over here? He says everything is resting upon me, upon him. Matsthani sarva bhutani. Sometimes we see a picture, you can see the picture of this. It's a Greek mythology. They say, they call him Atlas. He's kind of holding the globe on his shoulder. Seems to be very tired, holding this great earthly planet. So such an image, it should not be entertained. Definitely not entertained. Why? Because Krishna's upholding and this one you cannot compare. He is upholding this created universe, right? So these planetary systems, they're floating in space. How? And this space, it is the energy of Supreme Lord. But he is different from space. We sometimes think of doing something, so many things we want to do. But there are so many hindrances, problems that come during our way. And it's not possible to do, the way we want to do. But Krishna is different. He is away. He is Supreme Lord. He wants to do something simply by his thinking, by his will, everything can be performed so perfectly, right? Yatha kashasthito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan tatha sarvani bhutani matstani tyupadharaya. As the mighty wind blowing everywhere always rests in ethereal space, know that in the same manner all beings rest in me. Now there is a comparison of wind. So Krishna, Lord Krishna has used the term even matstani so many times, like he used in fourth verse also, right? Mastani Bhutani in fifth also, now in sixth also, in fourth also it was there, right? So 4 to 6 is using word Matstani. So what does it mean? Matstani means what? The living beings rest in me. It means that. So they cannot be separated from him, right? Even though they transmigrate into different bodies, and because we get so close to this matter and contaminate ourselves and transmigrate to different forms, but he's there. He now gives an analogy of a wind so that we understand what he means to say. Wind has no existence, right? Independent of the sky. It's moving in the sky. It moves very furiously also, it says. Wind, mighty wind blowing everywhere. So it is blowing very incessantly, furiously also. Yet it is still resting there within that sky only. It can't go beyond that sky, right? Same way, Lord Krishna is explaining. The souls have no existence independent of him, right? As we generally say, not even a blade of grass can move without the will of God. So he is aloof from everything, as sky is aloof from the activities of the wind. Sarvabhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpadau visrajamiham. O son of Kunti, at the end of millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature. And at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. Prakritim swama vashtabhya visrajami punah punaha bhutagramamimam kritsnam avasham prakriter vashar. The whole cosmic order is under me. By my will, it is manifested again and again. And by my will, it is annihilated at the end. So Lord Krishna has explained in the last few verses that all living beings are dwelling in him, right? So this statement may bring up following questions. What can the question be? When this Mahapralaya happens, the great annihilation, everything is destroyed, takes place, then entire world is wound up. And then where do these living beings go? Where do we all go? So the answer to this question is given in this verse. What is he saying? Kalpakshaya means kalp finishes. What is that kalp? End of Brahma's lifespan. That is kalpakshaya. So the entire cosmic manifestation, it is dissolved. Everything is dissolved, all the souls within the material creation, they go and rest in the body of God in the state of suspended animation, like the baby is in that womb, that way it's lying. So like that, all the souls are lying in his body. And then at the time of creation, the material energy is first formed. He let looses the material energy, all material energy. And then Mahatattva, first Mahatattva into which Lord comes as first Purusha, like first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu comes. Then he lies down in the causal ocean. What is causal ocean? Causal ocean is the origin of material creation. From there, material creation starts, right? And it is a place in spiritual sky where Mahavishnu is lying down, and he creates this material world from there, causal ocean. The causal ocean is, it's written in their scriptures that it is the border between the spiritual realm and the material world. Material world is here, spiritual world is there. It is there in the border. And then Mahavishnu, he will breathe out innumerable universes. And in each universe, Lord will again enter. Every universe he will enter as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Each universe is created that way. And then he will further manifest himself into Kshirodakshay Vishnu. And Vishnu will enter each and every small, minute, even atom also he will enter. Everything, A to Z. Then the souls who were lying in suspended animation, they were just lying like this. Then slowly they will again be placed in this world. Then accordance with their causal body, they will receive their subtle or gross bodies. And then various life forms are created in the universe. How will these life forms be taking place? They will be taking place in different planes of existence. There's so many universes. So every soul will go to different universe. Some planetary systems, fire will be a dominant element. And in this earthly plane, just like this in earthly plane, what is the dominant element here? The dominant element is earth and water. So same way, there are many universes we don't even know. And he enters into everything. Then verse 9. Nachamam tani karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya udasina vadasinam asaktam teshu karmasu. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I'm ever detached, seated as though neutral. So he is again saying that he is neutral. He does create everything. He is doing all the job, but he's still neutral. He's unaffected by the work of the material energy. He's ever blissful, not disturbed. And this neutrality is mentioned with the word what? What is the word? Udasinavat. Udasinavat means he is completely neutral. Although he has control over every minutest detail of the material activity, he is still sitting as if neutral. You can give the example, every time I give this example of a high court judge. He's sitting on the bench, and by his order, many things are happening. Like someone is being hanged, someone is being put into jail, someone is being awarded a huge amount of wealth, or somebody is being punished for something, but he is neutral. He has nothing to do with all that gain or loss. Somebody is going into the jail, somebody is being hanged to death. He has nothing. He is just giving the sentence. That's it. Similarly, Lord is neutral. He's sitting there. Although he has hand in every sphere, he's taking care of everything. And living entities take different forms, in different various species of life, according to their karma, their past deeds. So God does not interfere in it. You have done bad, you have to go into that species. Having explained all this in so much detail and saying that he's unaffected, he is now explaining, he's going to explain that he is the non-doer, right? He is just like a supervisor, you can say. We can see. So Krishna's relationship with material world. Maya dhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetuna anena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. So when God wishes to create the world, he just glances at material energy and animates it. Material energy is, as by itself, it is lifeless. But when it gets its inspiration from God, it begins to act as if it were responsive. Like, there will be a pair of tongs in the hand of a chef, a cook. So as such, if the tong is lying over there, it is lifeless. But the moment he is holding it, he will start using it to make anything or to take out some hot pot or to do anything. He will do wonderful things with it. Likewise, material energy does not have itself have the power to anything. But if with God, it will start doing anything. Example has been given that when there is a fragrant flower outside, it is being touched by smelling power of the person, by someone. There is a fragrant flower before me, suppose. The fragrance touched by smelling power, right? Yet that smelling thing and the flower, they are detached from one another. I can smell, but the flower and the smell are detached from each other. And in similar connection between material, there is a similar connection between material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead also. He has nothing to do with the material world, right? But he creates by his glance and he ordains. Another example that we can think of is a prime minister or president of a country, right? He personally does not do any task of the government. He has very many departments. He has ministers under him, officials appointed under him to perform different functions. And yet, if something goes wrong, there is a success or there is a failure, everything is, he has to be responsible for all that, right? It's attributed to him, to the government. This is because he sanctions the government officials for performing the tasks under his jurisdiction, right? So similarly, the firstborn is Brahma. So Brahma and the material energy, they accomplish the task of life forms. They will start doing it. Since they work under the God's sanction, he is also referred to as, Brahma is referred to as a creator, right? He is the creator, that's why he is referred. So what we learn from here is God means who who possesses inconceivable qualities, all opulences. Hence, he will be like us only, right? Limited in so many ways. We are limited in so many ways, right? Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavamajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. So, personality of Godhead, he is Krishna, right? He is creator, he is maintainer, he is annihilator, everything he is doing. He cannot be a human being like us, right? But still, there are many mudha. He says mudha. They are very foolish men who consider Krishna to be, oh, he is just a powerful man, that some magical thing he does, nothing more. So here he is calling them mudha. He says, which means they are dim-witted, they are foolish, to describe those who deny the divinity in him. He is actually the supreme personality of Godhead, has been confirmed by Brahma has confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adi Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. He is eternal, he is all pervading, he is all knowing, he is all blissful. He has no beginning, no end. He is the cause of all causes. Brahma has been praising him so many times, right? There are so many instances that Krishna is that shows Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. Still, foolish people don't want to understand, right? He came down with Balrama. He played like a human being. He performed so many superhuman acts, right? He appeared in Chaturbhuja Rupa in front of Vasudeva and Devaki. And then later on, after the prayers of his parents, he transformed himself into a small baby, ordinary child. In 11th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, he showed his universal form to Arjuna. Then his four-handed form, Tenaiva Rupena Chaturbhujena Rup, he showed to Arjuna. After revealing, when Arjuna requested, please show me the two-handed form. Then Manusham Rupam, he says, then he comes down and shows the ordinary human being, right? So in Kurukshetra war also, there were Pandavas and Kauravas. But Kauravas did not understand that Krishna was God. They thought he was a normal human being. They did not see the divinity, the Divya Swabhava in him. Krishna is Satchit Ananda Rupa, Ananda Vigraha, right? He's become so huge during Vamana avatar. And then he became so small size of a thumb when he entered Uttara's womb, Abhimanyu's wife, to save Parikshit Maharaj, right? Then who can understand Krishna? And we have here foolish people, what do we say? I have to watch this serial. I have no time to go to the temple. This is more important. This is what the attitude is. Who can understand Krishna? Only those who surrender to Krishna with love and devotion. Mogha sha moga karmano moga jnana vichetasaha rakshasi masurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shritaha. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, their culture of knowledge, all defeated. So many devotees, they assume themselves to be in Krishna consciousness. They think they are in Krishna consciousness, and devotional service. At heart in heart, they are not accepting Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. They will, no, he is not. He is not the Supreme. In other words, what happens? Persons, they are mocking Krishna. They are supposed to be like demonic and atheistic. They do not have those divine sentiments towards personal form of Krishna. They cannot engage in bhakti towards him. Then they are totally mudha. They don't have any jnana. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakriti mashritaha bhajantyananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded and the great souls are under the protection of divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Like, did you see the Krishna style of discourse? Once his driving point home by saying that, makes very contrast comparisons. Before he said they are very foolish who don't do. Now he is telling about those First, he described about those who are confused, deluded, and foolish kind of. Now he's talking about great souls. So great souls, they receive the grace of the God, and they are completely endowed with the divine love. They engage in Krishna consciousness and devotional service uninterrupted, right? And in this verse, what did he say? Mahan Mahatmanastu means they are Mahatma. The first sign of Mahatma is that he is already situated in divine nature. He is not under the control of material nature. He surrenders himself to Lord Krishna. So once he becomes freed from this Maya, then that is the qualification of Mahatma. Such a Mahatma, they are always engaged in devotional service, right? And such a great Mahatma was Madhavendra Puri, sorry. Madhavendra Puri, he discovered Gopala. It's very, very little is known about him. He appeared in 14th century, that's what we know. And then once he came to Vrindavan, he traveled to Vrindavan, he came upon Govardhana hill, he sat down beneath a tree, he was taking some rest. So while he was resting, a cowherd boy came, as you can see in the picture. A cowherd boy came with a pot of milk. He placed it before Madhavendra Puri. And smilingly he said, please drink this milk, I brought it for you. Madhavendra Puri forgot all hunger and thirst when he was hearing the sweet words. Oh wow, such nicely asking, so who are you? Where do you live? Then he said, I'm just a cowherd boy and I reside in this nearby village. The women were passing by to get some water. They saw you and they asked me to give you this milk. So I'm going back. I have to go. And after you drink this, I will come back and I will take the pot from you. I have to go, I have to take the cows with me. So after drinking, he waited for the boy, but he didn't turn up. So after that, he chanted Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Then he slept under the tree and he got a dream. In the dream, the boy came. He was holding his hand and taking him to a nearby bush in the jungle. And the boy was showing the Madhavendra Puri in the bush. He said, you know what? I am residing in this bush. And because of this, I really suffer very much from severe cold, wind, hot, everything. And please, I feel so hot over here. Construct a temple for me. And on the top of that hill, nearby. And after this, you wash me nicely with water so that, my body is cleansed. And for many days, I have been observing you. I'm waiting for you to come. Why you have not come yet? So my name is, my name is Gopala. And I am the lifter of Govardhana hill, he tells him in his dream. So when these Muslims had attacked, that time this priest who got very scared, he took my idol and he ran away because he was out of fear. He ran away and he hid in this bush. He put me in this bush. Now it's very good that you have come, please save me and take me and remove me with care. So Madhavendra Puri just went to that place next morning along with, of course, villagers and all that. They all helped him. And to cut the story short, the boy had instructed him to go and found the Gopal deity, right? So then in the end, there was a great installation of the deity, Sri Gopala. And then his worshipful deity, Srinathji or Gopalji, is at Nath Dwar in Rajasthan. As you can see here, Srinathji over here. So this is the story of great devotee called Madhavendra Puri. Fools neglect bhakti, divine don't. Tatatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha drida prataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Always chanting my glories and delivering with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with great devotions. You can see Srila Prabhupada, the greatest devotee here, right? Having said that great devotees engage in his devotion, he explains that they do bhakti. So he's telling that devotees become very much attached to Krishna, kirtan. That means practicing devotion and enhancing, right? Singing glories of Krishna. That's called kirtan, right? So it's the most powerful means of practicing devotion. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. This is what we need to do. What is the goal? The goal is to fix our mind upon the lotus feet of Krishna, right? And it is, of course, it will become very easier if we do some Shravanam and Kirtanam, like we are hearing and chanting, right? As it is stated in chapter 6 also, Chanchalam, Himana Krishna, mind is very restless. So if mind is restless, it is moving around, even the thoughts are moving around. What happens when we are hearing and chanting? It helps us to, bring back the mind from wherever it is wandering. So in devotional service, such actings like we do Ekadashi fasting, right? So all this will help us. Certain activities help us. So as it was described, right, in second verse of this chapter, that devotional service, I showed all the 9 devotional service. It is easy and it can be performed in a happy mood. We can keep chanting Maha Mantra. So Krishna is our friend. So all our possessions and relationships are long rows of 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Ultimately, they mean nothing. When we add Krishna, then it's like adding 1 in the beginning of all those zeros, and then it becomes meaningful, right? You add, otherwise 0 means nothing. You add 1, it has a lot of meaning. So it's like if we add Krishna there, it becomes, so all our positions and relationships are just nothing. So we should not neglect Krishna because he is our friend. Pita hamasya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksamaya jurevacha. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, the syllable Om. I am also the Rik, the Sama, and the Yajurveda. So creation has originated from God. So that is why he says, I am the Pita. Before creation, he was holding all of us in his womb, right? All the souls were just in animated position, just hanging upside down like that, right? So he's our Mata. He is maintaining the universe. He is nourishing it. That is why he is called Dhata. Mata, Dhata, Pitamaha. He is the sustainer. So he is Dhata, right? Vidhata. He is also the father of Brahma. So who is Brahma? He is the creator. So he is the father of Brahma. So who is he? Pitamaha. He is Pita. Pita will be creator, the Brahma. The Pitamaha, the father of the grandfather of this universe. So the Vedas have come out from God. God has manifested Vedas by his breath. So in all the Vedic mantras, you will notice that there is Om called Pranava, right? This is a sound vibration, and it's called Krishna also. So because in many, many hymns of these all 4 Vedas, Sama, Yajur, Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, Omkara Pranava mantra is very, very prominent in all this. So it has to be understood that it is Krishna. Lord Krishna's, it has come out of Krishna's breath. So it is Krishna. So Lord Krishna states this truth by saying that he is the Vedas. Vedyam Pavitram Omkara Rik Sama Yajurevacha. I am all this. So he is himself telling us. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Suhat Prabhavas Pralayasthanam Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam. I am the goal, sustainer, master, witness, abode, refuge, most dear friend. I am the creation, annihilation, the basis of everything, resting place, and eternal seed. So Gati means this. Gati means what? Gati means goal. It's the destination where we want to go. But ultimate goal is what? Our ultimate goal is to go to Krishna. Although people don't know it, but that's the goal that we need to know. We are misled actually, right? There are many who make their destination to different demigods. There are such lokas, right? Planets. They are creations of Krishna. So to approach different energies of Krishna is to approach Krishna indirectly. So every time Krishna is saying, why don't you approach me directly? You will be saving your time and your energy also. So if there is a possibility of, like I had showed in one of the slides before, earlier classes, that if there is a possibility of going to the top of the building by the help of an elevator, why should one take a staircase step by step? Similarly, in body consciousness, we look upon our relatives, as the body of father, mother, child, husband, friend, and we become attached to them, right? But none of these worldly relatives can give us perfect love that our soul is wanting for. Our soul is never satisfied. You can see that. Attachment brings what? Disappointment. And then you're sitting and crying. As I showed you, they're all zeros. So this is for 2 reasons. Firstly, because these relationships are temporary. Separation is unavoidable. when they may go or we may go, somebody will go. Either one of us will anyway go, right? And secondly, what, even though as long as we are alive, they are alive, attachment is based on selfishness. You can see that, and it fluctuates. One day I'll say, my brother is so nice, he gave me a watch. Next day he's terrible. He hit me very badly. This is how our love is fluctuating. So, and we are doing so much drama in this world. But on the other hand, if you see God, he is a relative who has accompanied us lifetime after lifetime. He is with us all along. He is our eternal relative, right? So he has no other self-interest also. He's perfect. He has everything. He doesn't need anything from us. He loves us selflessly. He desires only our welfare. So definitely God is alone our perfect relative. He's eternal. He's selfless. So again, that analogy of wave comes, ocean and wave, right? There are two neighboring waves in the ocean. They're flowing together for some time. They will be playing with each other, those two waves. And after creating an impression, they have a very deep relation, right, between them. They're playing with each other. After traveling for some time, what happened to these waves? One will subside into the ocean. Then shortly, the other one also goes. Did they have any relationship between them? No. They were both born from the ocean. Their relationship was within that ocean itself. They came, they met for some time, one after the other, they went away. It is actually the relationship is with ocean only. Similarly, God is like ocean. We are like waves who have come from him. We create attachments amongst each other because, our bodily relations. Why? Only to leave everyone upon death, and then we go on to the journey into another birth. The truth is that we souls are not actually related to each other. We are related to God, from whom we have all come, right? So to help us tie our mind towards him, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that soul's relationship is with God alone. Tapam yahamaham varsham nigranam yutsvajami cha amritam chaiva mrityushcha sadasachaham Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, I control heat, rain, drought. I'm immortality. I'm also death personified. Both being and non-being are in me. He's explaining so much. He's telling I'm everything. I'm heat, light. I'm electricity. I'm agency of electricity. I'm sun. During summer season, it is Krishna who checks rain from falling from the sky. During rainy season, right? He gives non-stop torrents of rain. This energy prolongs the duration of our life. Who? The energy which prolongs the duration of our life, this life, the life force, is Krishna. And Krishna only meets us at the time of death. He meets us at the end also. He is death personified. Traividyamam somapa puta papa yajnairishva swargatim prarthayante te punyamasadya surendra lokam ashnanti divyan divideva bhogan. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice are seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. They take birth on the planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. In case you do Papa, you will go to hell. Why go to heaven or hell? Why not go to a place where you don't have to come back? That's Krishna Loka, right? Here, Traividya. Traividya refers to the three Vedas. Atharva Veda came later. Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, Rig Veda, right? So the Brahmana is studying all the three Vedas. He is called Trivedi. So devotional service begins with what? Chanting of Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, right? And side by side, trying to understand Krishna and truth. Unfortunately, those who study Vedas, they become more interesting in offering sacrifices to Indra, Chandra, and all those devatas. And they go to such planets also, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and then they enjoy over there after many years, hundreds, thousands years. It's definitely better than our planet, definitely better. But then in the following verse, Krishna is telling that there is a defect. What is that? Tetam bhukva swarga lokam vishalam shine punye matya lokam vishanti evam trayo dharma manuprapanna gatagatam kama kama labhante. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. So once again, after he has finished his punya, credit is done, he comes back. Have you ever been on a giant wheel? You see this giant wheel over here? So this giant wheel, What do you see at once you reach the top? You see the whole city, the lights, everything, wonderful sights, right? But once we reach on the top, we know it has gone on the top, it has to come down. Similarly, we go to heavenly planets only to come back to the earth. We are simply revolving in the cycle of birth and death on higher and lower planetary systems. Isn't it better that we go to a spiritual world, enjoy eternal life full of bliss, knowledge, never to return back? So that is why we should aim for Krishna consciousness, God realization, devotion. So how to do it? So we will understand. Durlabham manusham janma prarthyate triyachairapi. Narad Puran also says that human form is exceedingly rare. Even the demigods pray to attain it because we have got the license, we have got the ticket to go to Krishna Loka. So how Krishna reciprocates? Ananyashchintayanto mam ye janaः paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. But those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Very important point. Carry what they lack and preserve what they have. So he is offering motherly assurance in this. To whom? To devotees. Devotees, what kind of devotees? Who are surrendering themselves exclusively to him, not just outside show, from inside. So vahamyaham, meaning I personally carry the burden of maintaining my devotees. Just as, once the couple are married, they have to take responsibility of taking care of the whole family. Similarly, Krishna promises two things here. Well, first is yoga kshema. By mercy of God, he will look after us. He will never come back to this material condition of life. And then kshema. Kshema means he is getting the grace of God, mercy of God. So however, this condition has been placed, right? He has placed for this. What is the condition? It is devotion, surrender, exclusive surrender, not any. He won't look after any devotee. He would look after a devotee who has completely surrendered to him. So when we act of our independent will, oh, I can do everything, I am the doer, then God says, okay, fine, do what you want to do, right? He will just note down whatever karma we have done, and then he will show. If we have done little bit of devotion, he will give little bit of grace, and that is it. You come back again and again, right? Accordingly, he will bestow his grace. However much we will do, he will bestow that much grace, right? If he is completely saying, come to me, mam ekam sharanam raja, come, I will look after you, just mam ekam, come to my feet, then he will bestow complete grace upon us, right? He will take full responsibility of preserving what we have and providing what we lack. So let's see further. Yepyanya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvitaah tepi mameva kaunteya yajante vidhi purvakam. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone. But it is offered without true understanding. That is what Krishna is telling. Persons, they are engaged in the worship of demigods are indirectly worshipping Krishna only. So he gives the example, like if you are, Srila Prabhupada gives this example, if we are watering the root of a tree, we are actually giving the water to trunk, the branches, the leaf, the twigs, the flowers, right? All become nourished. So when we put food in our mouth, it nourishes the life airs, right? And senses automatically. Where we are putting the food is going to stomach. Then how are we getting energy all over the body? Similarly, if we put water in the root of the tree, it is nourishing the whole plant. So in the same way, if we worship Supreme Personality of Godhead, all his parts, including the Devatas, are worshipped. If we worship him, everybody is being worshipped. However, if we begin, we start, okay, no, I just want to pour the water on only leaves and maybe only this portion. Only the flower I'll put some water. And we are neglecting the roots. What will happen? Slowly, slowly the tree will die. Likewise, worship offered to demigods, it will certainly make, we will move towards Supreme Lord. But such devotees do not get spiritual benefits. We will again come back, because demigods, who are demigods? They are like, as I explained before also, they are officers and directors and administrators in the government of Krishna. So one has to follow the laws made by the government, right? Not by the officers and directors. Similarly, everyone has to offer his worship to Supreme Lord. We have to follow government law. That will automatically satisfy other different officers and directors of the Lord, right? So the officers and directors, they are engaged as representative of the government, right? And we are trying to offer like a bribe to those officers and government. That is illegal. That is why it is stated avidhi purvakam. Avidhi yajante avidhi purvakam means what? It is the wrong way. They are offering, but they do not have true understanding. He is not approving the unnecessary worship. He says, what are you doing here? Why are you going this way? Results achieved by those who accept or reject Krishna. Yanti deva vrata devan pitran yanti pitrivrataha bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhya jinopimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. Those who worship ancestors go to ancestors. Those who worship me will live with me. So clearly, who can tell? Is explain the implications of worshipping the different entities, right? He's telling the destination also. Where will you go? Demigods will go to heavenly planets. You will do good karma, go to the heavenly gods. Your good karma gets depleted, come back. Pitra, ancestors, you pray to them. Very good. You are very grateful towards them. You start praying to them and you become very much attached to them. You will go to their abode. In the mode of ignorance, you will start worshipping ghosts and spirits. We have black magic. Even in India, some people invoke ghosts and spirits. So Lord Krishna says such people will take birth among ghosts and spirits in their next life. So highest devotees are who? Those who attach their mind to Krishna, right? Dhrida vrata means resolve and undertaking. So such fortunate souls. Here, all you devotees are fortunate souls. You are able to sit here and listen to this. So you are very fortunate. So we have to firmly resolve that we will worship Krishna and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead only, right? And we want to achieve Krishna Loka, Golok Vrindavan, without a doubt. We will go over there after our death. Simplicity of worshipping Krishna. What is that? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakta yupahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love, devotion, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a water, I will accept. So having established he has established the fact that worshipping Krishna, now with devotion, we have to have complete surrender. Now he's explaining, so easy to do. How? How can we worship him? In the worship of devatas and ancestors, there are many rules and regulations. You have to do this kind of yajna. You have to take bath. You have to chant these many shlokas, these many days. So many things to be followed. Very strict rules to be followed. If you don't, they will not be pleased. So you have to really work hard to please. But Krishna is different. He's very simple. He will accept anything that is offered with loving heart. If you have only a fruit, offer it to God. If you have, he will be pleased. If you have no fruit available, just give him some flower. Then it's not season for flowers, you can't give him. Then offer a tulsi leaf to him. That will even suffice, right? Because if you are giving with love. Then leaves are not there, offer water. Water is available everywhere. But then again, you have to do it with devotion. That bhaktya, you can see that bhaktya is repeated twice in this first line also and second line. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti yupatam ashnami prayatam. 2 times he has said. Bhakti is the what he needs. He doesn't need anything from us, right? He has everything. He's having all 6 opulences. It's the bhakti of the devotee that pulls God, right? So prayatatmana means what? He accepts the offering of those whose hearts are pure. Srila Prabhupada also in his purport explained, one who loves Krishna will give him whatever he wants, right? And he will avoid anything which is undesirable and unasked. Here, meat, fish, or whatever, eggs, it's not to be offered to Krishna. Why? If Krishna would have wanted, he would have said so. But he said, Patram pushpam phalam toyam. I'm happy with this. I'm going to accept this. So we have to understand whatever he is wanting, that is what we have to give. So we should not give something that he does not want. So we should prepare very simple food and offer very humbly to him with full devotion, so that we can advance in our life, purify our body and create, because when we offer such prasadam, it will create fine tissues. It's there, and it will lead to clear thinking also, right? And offering with an attitude of love, It's the thing that Krishna is looking for, because Krishna does not need food. He has everything. He accepts anything and everything that is offered with devotion. The important element over here is serving and offering in act of love. So we have to understand that, right? When before the war, when Krishna had gone for peace talks to Hastinapur, Duryodhan said, "Come to my palace. I have prepared 56 different items." Krishna refused to go there. He said, "Sorry, I don't want to go. I will go to Vidur's place." He went. Sulabha, Vidur's wife, she offered him banana, but she was so lost with in devotion and love that she didn't realize that she peeled the banana, gave the peel to Krishna, and threw the banana. And Krishna also very lovingly took the peel and he ate also. So you can see the kind of love he has, as if it was a delicious food in the world. He ate that. So why eat prasadam? To purify the mind, to advance in bhakti, and to develop finer tissues in the brain. Yat karoshi yadashnashi yadduhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat purushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Now, in previous verse, what he has stated, that what all we should offer him. Now he's saying, offer everything to me. What actions? What actions we have to offer? All the social duties, whatever you are doing in day-to-day life, offer to him. Food, whatever you are eating, offer to him, right? Whatever non-alcoholic beverages you are having, offer to him. Whatever Vedic prayers you are doing, you may be performing, right? Austerities, offer to him mentally, right? So we need to understand that whatever we are doing, everything needs to be offered to Krishna. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Very clearly is saying, right? And he says he's partial towards his devotee. As such, he's impartial. But devotees, yes, he will do anything for his devotees. Because everybody is subject to the law of karma. You have to face your karma. You can't say, Krishna, I will not do. So what does God do here? He will give his grace and mercy. He will release his devotees from it. He will help us if we are under him. So Lord Krishna is very clearly removing this doubt and begins the verse by saying, Samoham, meaning no. Sama means equal. I'm equal to all. He is just like a cloud, which pours rain all over. Everywhere the rain is dropping, rain does not see where to fall down and where not to fall. Regardless of whether it is falling on the rock or in the river or on the land or in a well, it goes down, right? Similarly, it falls equally on earth. Yet, if a drop or rainwater falls on a grain of a field, then rice crops will come up. And if the water is falling in the gutter, it becomes dirty water. So there is no partiality with the rain. Rain is not doing any partiality. If it is falling in the field, rice is coming up. Falling in the gutter, dirty water. So it depends. It cannot be held responsible. Why rainwater fell on the grain and that grain came up and here gutter, bad water, dirty water. Raindrops cannot be held responsible for such variations in results, which are a consequence of nature of the recipient. Similarly, what happens? God states over here, he is also equally inclined to all of us, right? Thus, people who do not love him, they are deprived of the benefits of his grace because their hearts are not a suitable vessel for receiving that grace. We have to understand that point. That he had told, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. He says, whoever surrenders to me proportionally, I take care of him. You surrender, I will take care of him. I am impartial. If you're doing you're a gutter, dirty water will be there. If you are a field, grain will come out. So whatever you will sow, so shall you reap. But if you are my devotee and surrendering to me, I will offer grace. Apichet sudura charo bhajate mamananya bhak Sadhure eva samantavya samayakyavasito hi saha. Even if one commits a most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. These are like example of Jagai Madai over here. And they and also Ajamil and Valmiki. All the stories I had told about Ajamil yesterday I told, and Valmiki, you know what had happened when he did very impious deeds right before, and then he was unable to even enunciate Rama, the two syllables, and then his guru Narada told him, say Mara Mara Mara, and then Mara Mara Mara, and he started automatically created the sound of Rama, and then he became a sage Valmiki, right? That he became a sage Valmiki. So if we have to get engaged in fully engaged in devotional service of God, even if we are like somebody like Valmiki who was a thief before, he did a lot of abominable action, but the moment he started chanting, he came out of it, right? It has to be considered like there are spots on the moon. Such spots become like, it should not become like a barrier, right? We have to accidentally, maybe we have fallen into bad company. Accidentally, we may have done some abominable acts. Doesn't matter. The moment we are on the path of spirituality, slowly, we can get out of it. That's what it said here. We can get freedom from miseries. How can we get? It destroys sinful reactions. It destroys their inclinations to commit sin, and it protects even when one commits accidental sin. So we can be, if we are on devotional path. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvachantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly, that my devotee never perishes. This question remains, that how can a person engaged in abominable activities, either by accident or by intention, can become a pure devotee? So this question keeps coming in the mind. Then Krishna here explains, that if you continue to be in the process of exclusive devotion, have complete faith, that Shraddha in God, heart will get purified. Slowly you will develop spiritual virtues, right? And he also says to Arjuna, boldly declare that my devotees, that his devotees will never perish if he's showing devotion. Very interesting to see that he's asking Arjuna to make this statement and he is not making that statement because, he wants that, somewhere I had read, the reason that under special circumstances, Lord sometimes breaks his word also. He never permits his devotees' words to be broken. Like he had resolved in Mahabharata war, he will not lift the weapons. But Bhishma wanted to see him holding the weapon. So for Bhishma was a very good devotee. Bhishma had considered, he had resolved that he would either kill Arjuna by sunset the next day, or he will make Krishna lift the weapon to protect him, to protect Arjuna. And Krishna broke his promise that he will not lift, and he took out that to show Bhishma, right? So that is why he is telling here, Arjuna, you tell, don't worry, because he can break his promise, but for his devotee will make sure the devotee doesn't break the promise. That's the reason, I guess. Mami parthavyapashritya yopi swapapayonayah priyo vaishyas tatha shudras tepi yanti param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, as well as Shudras, can approach the supreme destination. Very clearly declared by Lord Krishna over here, that devotional service, there is no distinction between higher class and lower class. Anybody, any division, whoever is engaged in spiritual service, they are equal. They will definitely be eligible for supreme destination. It's not that she is a Shudra, he is a Brahmana, so Brahmana can go, nothing like that. Pure devotee of Krishna can, even enable the lower classes also to attain the perfection of life. So how is it possible to take shelter of Krishna? It is by this word, Vyapashritya, means take shelter. One has to take shelter of who? Krishna. So we have many examples also, right? Sudama also. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvaevam atmanam mat parayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, offer obeisances, worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So Srila Prabhupada used to do that, right? He was service oriented. He used to teach, he used to preach, he used to cook, he used to make Mahaprasadam, he used to make prasadam, he used to write books. He was 24/7 in Krishna's service. We may not be having that sort of ability or capability right now, but at least whenever we begin to do our work or we are studying something, we should take Krishna's name, right? In this verse, it is very clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is only means of taking us away from this clutches of Maya, contaminated material world. So we should always think of Krishna with devotional love. So that is what is bhakti. Shraddha is needed, sadhu sangha is needed, bhakti is needed. Pure devotee has no chance of falling down because Krishna will take care of his pure devotees. And he's concluding this by saying, he's telling Arjuna to become his devotee. He's asking Arjuna to unite his consciousness with God. He's telling that in true yoga, you worship him and you engage your mind in meditation and offer the obeisances in pure humility. Namaskuru, he says. Namaskuru means humble obeisances. Namaskar. Whatever little ego we will be having, when we do namaskar, that goes away. So we become free from pride. Pride is something that is very dangerous. So with heart completely immersed in devotion, we should dedicate our life, dedicate our thought, dedicate our words, dedicate our actions to Krishna. And he's telling through bhakti yoga only, he will definitely attain Krishna, God realization. And Krishna is giving the guarantee that you should not have any doubt. So intelligent person should do what? Should directly take the process of Krishna consciousness, right? So that we can, here also while living in this material world, right now also we can live very happily. And eventually we'll receive the award from Krishna. That is, go to Krishna Lok. So let's see what is we learned in chapter 9. We get the knowledge, qualification of a recipient. We have to be a devotee. Nature of this knowledge is king of knowledge. It is joyful, everlasting, right? All the sins get purified, right? Inconceivable Lord. He has all 6 opulences. He has created. It is inconceivable. We cannot see with our material eyes. Who neglects Krishna? Who neglects, accepts Krishna's dealings, right? And what is the result? What happens when we neglect Krishna? And then glories of devotional service. Simplicity. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. We will be free from all our miseries. And we will live here even in this material life. We will live blissfully. And at the end of our life, we will go to Krishna Lok. So Bhagavad Ashwarik Dhyana 9.1 to 9.10. Ways to approach Krishna 11 to 25. And sweetness of exclusive devotion 26 to 34. Now tomorrow in 10th chapter, he will increase Arjuna's bhakti by telling about his infinite glories, and he will tell about his opulences also. Mancha kalpatarupascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.